Hey Geminis, welcome to my channel. It's True Tarot for today. This is Sherry. I'm going to be doing your monthly reading for June 2019. And you Geminis have a birthday this month, so for all of you that are celebrating your birthday, I hope it's a fun, happy day for you. And let's get started. I've already mixed your cards and I've laid them out. And so let's start with your first house. And this is how the world is going to see you in the month of June. And you're going to be a person that comes across as very fair, very judicial. This is the card of even Steven. You're getting compensated financially for what you're putting into things. You may be generous or feel generous this month. You may receive gifts. It's your birthday month. And you also may give people gifts this month because there is a sense of charity with this card. But basically, people are going to see you as a fair person and a person, that gets paid and is compensated fairly for their labor. So it's a fairness card, it's an equality card, and it's nice that the world sees you that way. In your money house, you have the Will, the Magician card showing up, and this means that you're going to feel highly motivated to get your money moving. Some of you may be sending out resumes. You may feel that you want more. You may feel that you're skilled. You're highly skilled. You may feel that you can multitask, which Geminis can do very well. But this is the card of manifestation. So whether you're sending resumes out, you could also be looking into new venues for creating money, creating wealth. For some of you, you may take a stronger concern or a stronger position with your investments, your 401ks, where your money's going, how money is making money or not making money. It's a very interactive card, but it shows that you're quite competent and that you want to bring your visions into reality. So for many of you, you do have a vision and money would be needed perhaps to get this vision into form. Okay, now this third house is the Gemini house. It represents communication. It represents online neighborhoods, and that can be all the social media platforms. It can also represent siblings and cousins and next door neighbors. And so you have the card of leaving with regret. So it could be one of your siblings is leaving with regret. Maybe they're coming for your birthday and they'll celebrate, and then they'll be sort of, sad to go. But it's also someone who could be turning their back on too much stress, and they decide to move, out of a situation or remove themselves from whatever is the source of the stress. They want to go to calmer waters. So this can be one of your family members. It can be, somebody who's been very active on Facebook and then suddenly they decide that they're just shutting their page down. It could be a neighbor, that's leaving for the summer, children. You'll have to decide, but usually they want to go to a calmer place and something is not calm around them. Your fourth house is your home, Gemini, and you have a young person showing up. Now, Gemini as a sign is very youthful, so for some of you it can represent you, and this month your imagination would be working overtime. Watch your emotions. This card is a highly emotional card. Sometimes, flights of fancy take over. There's a high degree of sensitivity. So this can also be a child of yours who you'll be putting a lot of focus on. And in this day and age, it can also be a pet because many people have replaced children, with owning and rearing and nurturing animals. But it is a youthful energy. and it's an energy of emotion. So there may be some real emotions coming up for you when you're at your home this month, or you'll be around a person that's imaginative and emotional and sensitive. You may be very sensitive this month when you're in your home. And because it's a child card, some of you, may be thinking, it's your birthday, of parents or people that were in your life, when you were younger, and you may be, sort of wishing you could turn the clock back with this card. But it does mean that your imagination and your creativity will be strong. If not you, it will be another member of your family, and your focus will be on that, child or pet. Now, in your fifth house, this represents your children and also new love. And I consider new love a relationship that's entered your life in the last 3 years. So, for you older Geminis, if this represents your child, they're very secure, they're very settled, they're very good with money. You don't have to worry about them. Some of your children may be studying finance, banking, real estate. Some of your children may be marrying or are married to a very, stable, comfortable man. But it's usually an older person, like over the age of 38. So, for you older Geminis, this could represent one of your children. But for you single Geminis, I see this more for you, that you have a partner that, they represent the earth signs. So Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo come up with this card. But it can also be a person, who's good with money and who wants to make something happen, with their money. And so for many of you, whether it's male or female, because this is a general reading, this person is down to earth and they have their feet on the ground. But they're also a person that likes their creature comforts, and they like to own property, they manage money well, and they like to have a bank account to manage. Okay, in your work house, you have the worry card. So some of you may be actually worried about someone at your job. You may be just worried about a family member, and that's affecting your work. For others of you, you may be worried about changes that are happening on the work front. It can be within, the colleagues in your department or the colleagues that you work with at your location, but it can be also just worry about the industry that you're in. So the worry and anxiety card do show that your work life is going to be a little stressful for you, or how you perceive your work may bring you some concern or anxiety. Some of you may be worried about assignments or projects or not meeting deadlines. This card can represent, like I said, concern of a person over a person, or just, concern and worry that keeps you up at night. So try to talk to someone about your fears or your concerns. In your partnership house, you have the Devil card. So this means that, one of your partnerships you've outgrown and it's weighing you down now. It's negative energy. So whether, this is colleagues, family, lovers, mates, friends, children, you'll have to decide, Gemini, which partnership or partner this represents. But this is showing that this person, is attached to things that no longer serve them, and they get into maybe some negative spirals. So you may be called upon for help, to bail this person out. You may be witnessing, somebody who has a substance problem, bad debt. This can be any of those things where the person feels bound. Someone could be in a codependent relationship, which is proving to be challenging for them. And so don't expect your partnerships to uplift you, or at least one of your partnerships in the month of June. Better to, give what you can when you can, and keep, some time for yourself, because this tends to go negative. Your eighth house represents your intimate life, your sex life, and it also represents inheritances, legacies, any shared resources you have with an institution, another person. And you have the High Priestess card here, and this is a very intuitive card. So for you Geminis, you're going to be perceived as a mystery in the month of June, which is kind of nice, but it's kind of a cool card, meaning it's like, don't mess up my hair, I'm the Mona Lisa, I'm Grace Kelly. You're going to be admired a lot, in the bedroom, or your intuition is going to be very strong if this regards your intimate life. But, you're not going to be ravished. It's not a card of passion. It's more, like I said, a cooler card where somebody admires you, or, desires you at a distance, but they don't, like, ravish you in person. So be careful, if you are in a sex life with someone and you want it to be more passionate, to not like have the partner feel that you're fragile or you're a work of art. Have the person, interact with you not as an ideal of the female principle, but as a real person who has sexual needs and desires. But, that's another side of yourself. If it is regarding inheritances or shared resources, you have very sharp intuition about the way things are probably going to play out, or what you need to do. This is, a card of also unforeseen events or an unforeseen future. So there may be a mystery around an inheritance or a person, and you feel connected to that in some way. But let your intuition guide you. That's really what this card suggests. And it's your birthday month, so it's not bad to have magnetism and charisma and have people be curious about you, even if it's your intimate partner. It still means that the mystery and the flame is alive, and, they admire you. I just, think if you want a hot and heavy birthday party, it's a little difficult with this card because it's more of admiration, and it's cooler than, great sex or something hot. Okay, your 11th house represents lawsuits, publishing, higher education, and also travel. So for many of you, if you did a trip, it would be to complete something, to finish something up, to close something down, finalizing something. If it's a legal situation, this looks like a judgment or a decision is going to come down in the month of June, and there will be a final assessment in terms of this litigation or any kind of case that you may be involved with legally. If it's higher education, many of you Geminis may be finishing and completing and graduating your studies, because this is the card of completion. And then for travel, I mentioned, closing something down. And for publishing, it might be like a how-to book on, how to, close a deal in sales, how to close a deal in real estate. It could be a book with legal information. So for publishing, it could mean that you just finished this, and publishing can be online or, in, the publishing houses. It can be even a website. So many of you may be enjoying a sense of completion, that you've, graduated, you finished what you needed to do. So there is a real sense of completion in your 9th house. In your career, we have the stalemate card. And so you are a Gemini, you're ruled by the swords. You have the worry card with the swords in your work house, And then you have the stalemate card in your career and how you're perceived in your career. And basically, this is the card where you feel stuck. There are options around you, but you don't feel you can make these moves at this time. And so you're kind of punching the clock and biding your time. You might even be biting your tongue in the month of June. But, for many of you, like if you wanted to make a big transition, this would be like a lateral move that you wouldn't be happy with. When you're stuck, it might be that you need to make the decision, but you don't want to make it yet. You're obviously worried about someone or something in the workplace, but you don't have like the wherewithal or the confidence right now mentally to choose precisely a new direction or to initiate a new start. And so you're not going to feel too great about your career in the month of June. So it's good to focus on other areas because this is your birthday month. And so, like in your home, you're feeling creative and imaginative. You have youthful energy in your home. And you're very motivated to bring one of your visions or manifest something in your money house. But it looks like your work environment or even one of your partnerships seems to be holding you back, and you're in a state of bondage. You feel chained to something. So for many of you Geminis, I don't really think you're going to be liking, your profession or your job, or there'll be a decision that will come up at work that you're not going to feel ready to make. You're just going to feel like, let me bide my time, or you feel stuck. So for you guys, you're very mercurial, and even though it's a mental card and it's swords, I still don't think you're going to like the feeling of it. I think you're going to, want to kind of break out, but you're not quite ready yet to move to the next challenge. Friendship house, one of your friends may be feeling neglected this month. They may be singing the blues to you. They're down and out in Beverly Hills. So this is either like they feel that their money stinks and they're not generating enough money, or they feel lonely and cut off from you or someone else, because this is a card of a person who feels lack of support. They feel isolated. They feel left out in the cold. And so one of your friends may be having a little bit of a self-pity party. And again, I don't suggest that you give a lot of energy to your relationships this month. I would focus more on yourself and your own autonomy and your own happiness. Because after all, this is your birthday month, Gemini, and you have a few wet towels around you. So, if you can make the time, to help a friend, that's great. But, it's not written in stone that, you have to always be a support system. You have your own worries this month, and so decide how much, sympathy or time or energy you want to give to this person who seems to be in need. Your 12th house is something you haven't mastered yet. Some readers and astrologers believe that this house represents someone who keeps you bound or in a prison. And, this is a woman who is pretty stern, and she knows what she thinks. She can be, stubborn. She can be a little dictatorial. She can be a little intimidating. So this can be a boss, a mother, an aunt, a friend, a family member. This woman has quite a bit of judgment. She's been hurt in the past, and she sees things black and white. She's not a fluffy, warm kind of person. Emotionally, she's a little cold. She's more mental than emotional. So again, Gemini, the swords are your sign, your air, your representation in the tarot. And so you understand this woman. Some of you, this may be yourself, that you're questioning, have you become bitter? Have you become rigid? Have you become dictatorial? my way or the highway. Are people intimidated or put off by you, especially if you're in any kind of leadership position? For others of you, this is a woman, who knows what she thinks, but, you may have a burden or debt to pay with this woman, and you feel like you're in prison right now. This person is holding you back. And so it's a karmic relationship. And, you'll either have to decide if this is a person, outside of yourself who you still feel influenced by, or whether it's aspects of yourself. And this goes for, in a general reading, the Gemini male. This is, again, the same characteristics of rigidity of mind, thinking that one is always right. These are the shadow side of this card, but it's a firmness. I mean, there is an ability to make, tough decisions. That's the good part of this personality. But because it's in your 12th house, and it can be like hidden enemies, it can be, situations that just keep you stuck or you haven't mastered karmically yet. For many of you, this could be another person. And so you'll have to decide who this is. And, you're going to have to meet mind with this individual. They like the upper hand. They like to be in control. Control is very important to them. And like I said, they can be a little firm and, judgmental. So you may be moving through how you really feel about this person or their effect on your personality or your life, because you do understand them because they are holding a sword. But, you may not feel free of them or their personality and their impact on your decision making or on your life, because it's your 12th house. So I would say that, in the month of June, I would have liked to see some more shiny, fun, aspects or cards here for you. But you do have, a lot of swords, which will be some stress and some worry, and it may present itself in your workplace as well. So you'll have to, troubleshoot this Queen of Swords in the month of June and try to celebrate your birthday and have a lot of fun. And if people are a little down around you, I would just look at your clock or your watch and say, oops, I have an appointment. It's my birthday month and I want to have some fun. Let's get together another time. All right, Geminis, if you like my videos, please like, share, and subscribe. Stay light, try not to get, pulled down by some of the, challenging people or situations around you in your birthday month. And treat yourself nice, and take a break, from things that are stressing you out. Okay, catch you back here next month. Take care.